Hello, my name is Bree, and I wrote the Epic of Istoria. To gather interest in my book, I will be narrating the introduction and an excerpt of the epilogue. If these bits don't catch your attention, don't waste your money. If you are interested in ancient cultures, overlaps in mythology, and scientific accuracy in fiction, please buy my book. Summary: a global meteor stream nearly wipes out humanity. Advanced societies are reduced to rubble, and the survivors retreat underground. Centuries later, their descendants emerged, forgetting how far their ancestors had come. They only retained some skills of the before times. They spoke different languages, remembered different stories, and were constantly at war. They had returned to a Stone Age as they relearned the lost knowledge of their ancestors. Introduction. Full disclosure, I am not a historian or an archaeologist. I am not a genomic scientist, nor am I religious. I am by no means an expert in any topic I speak of here. Honestly, I am agnostic and my day job is training dogs. I just have a photographic memory, high pattern recognition skills, and an obsession with mythology. My fascination with human origin is because each answer we dig up only launches more questions. We are the only species that measures time, creates tools, and uses advanced language to this degree. We are all aware that there is something different about humans, but we have yet to define what that is. We are also the only creatures that pay to live on this planet. We fight endless wars over lines only we can see, and children starve in an era of overproduced food and accessible trade. We have created a world where our biggest threat is ourselves, and we take advantage of that. How can a species so advanced let things get so out of hand? Modern humans have been here for hundreds of thousands of years. Why are there so many gaps in advancements in what appears to be waves of intelligent humans? Why are the oldest structures found seemingly more advanced than the ones that followed? Why do we assume that we have only had modern intelligence in the last 3% of our species' time here? What if that answer lies in the myths of our ancient history? Wait, don't go. Actually, my story has nothing to do with extraterrestrials or gods. Sorry, Giorgio, I do not believe we are alone in this universe, but humans are capable of amazing things and should take more credit. When you break down ancient spiritual views, their similar concepts differ greatly from common religions of today. The oldest and most disconnected beliefs seem to speak of the same widespread events. Imagine that our ancestors, prior to the Fertile Crescent, were not as simple as we are led to believe. They were thrown into a Stone Age after a global cataclysm. They were too busy rebuilding, repopulating, and mass-producing food to focus on things they deemed of lesser priority. Science does not lie. We just learn more and adjust our worldview. Maybe our true history is just lost to a 12,800-year-long game of generational telephone. I think that our ancient ancestors knew something that they failed to teach us, or something that we failed to understand. Perhaps digging up that answer is the key to building the utopia we have always dreamed of. The series of epics making up the bulk of the book will begin here. For this video, I will skip to an excerpt from the epilogue. Epilogue. From the earliest signs of civilization, ancient cultures revered the sky and earthly cycles. With agricultural and pastoral societies, that is to be expected. Many reference divine figures that shaped their civilization, a given for people who don't know how to describe the world around them. Flood myths are common, as a world warming up from an ice age would likely have many floods. It is assumed that Homo sapiens became more innovative with the rise of agriculture, but only after 218,000 years of minimal advancements. The Silurian hypothesis suggests that intelligent human life existed on Earth prior to our known civilizations. It theorizes that archaic societies are responsible for many of our mysteries, such as ancient megaliths and out-of-place artifacts. What could have ended a civilization so dramatically that we have little to no evidence of their existence? Earth has experienced many catastrophic events in its history. Earth always recovers, but its inhabitants are another story. What if one of these many cataclysms wiped out anything not written in stone? Literally. At Göbekli Tepe, T-Pillar 43 is theorized to describe a torrid meteor stream dating to the time of the Younger Dryas period. Ancient Iran refers to the sky as having a vault in front of it, and ancient Arcadia refers to a time before the moon. Could these points refer to long-term weather conditions that blocked out their view of the sky, like volcanic activity? Many cultures believe that they came from inside of the earth, such as the Angami Naga, Hopi, Meshika, and Mandan. What about underground cities, such as Derinkuyu? Could caves or underground structures have been a safer place to reside after a cataclysm? By the time of first contact, indigenous Americans retained spiritual concepts that were already phased out by European cultures. The similarities suggest that the ancestors of these people either communicated more than we currently believe they did, or that they experienced the same widespread events. Perhaps both. How did we get from the earth-conscious lifestyles of ancient animism to dropping bombs on each other for worshipping the wrong ancestor? Ancient and modern religions vary vastly until you follow the beliefs along the same trail as language, migrations, and genetics. By the time writing began, the origins of spirituality had been reduced to ritual and faith. Over time, cultures dropped what they deemed unimportant, such as primordial concepts and nature spirits. Other cultures prioritized certain points, such as monotheism, and early wars brought on the concept of suffering after death. As views migrated to other cultures, names blended, symbolism merged, and then dropped from memory. Concepts of duality and rebirth cycles were simplified, then misinterpreted, and spun into the opposite context to promote division. More migrations and translations, relevant historic events, and savants such as Moses and Siddhartha Gautama preached their attempt at clarity. At each step of this, the storyteller's worldview and culture painted a new picture. Wars villainized groups of people, and alliances shared common subjects in their following stories. More details were added to explain the discrepancies that arose with translations among translations. Then organized religion arose as a form of control, further deviating us from the origins of spirituality. We are left with the highlights and spin-offs of the original material. When you remove the factors of migrating beliefs, you are left with stories that don't quite differ that much. If you got this far, you should buy my book. The link is in the description. Thank you for listening.